G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 2 of my Drain Essence Apostate playthrough with Manfred here. Last episode we got about probably halfway through Act 1, and today we're going to go ahead and finish Act 1. So let's jump into it. Not a whole lot to talk about on the character just yet, so we're going to talk to Barnabas here and hand over all of my scrap, and then we're going to go and do the Slith quest now. The Slith quest is the second kind of guaranteed ring drop in Act 1. It's probably not going to be amazing for me, but I do have an empty slot, so it's probably better than an empty slot, let's be honest. And I could have bought one, actually. You definitely can go shopping for rings if you want to do that. Definitely recommend getting regeneration on your ring if you're going to do it. And actually, let's do something that I don't normally do. Normally, I would go left. I would go sort of up that way. This time, however, I want to show off one of the hidden loot locations in Grim Dawn. If this guy could just die, that'd be great. So, one of the hidden loot locations that I almost never go and get because, honestly, you're going a decent way out of your way to come over here. Yeah, maybe. Aetherfire is decent. That helmet is considerably better than the white one that I'm wearing, so I'm going to go ahead and chuck that on. This is more armor. This is more health. Fizz retaliation I don't really care for. You know what? I don't really need cunning on this character. Okay, Aetherfire of Thunder. So of Thunder is worthless. So is the Aetherfire section here better than 8% health and 6 flat health regen? Honestly, yes. Now there's a decent chance I'm going to be replacing this very shortly anyway, but for now, that seems good. I'm going to stop you from shooting my little sacks of XP down there. Shrewd leather pauldrons. You know what? Again, better than the white item that I was using. Okay, now that I've shown that little hidden stash of loot, let's get back to my normal path. Hopefully old mate will... Nope, he's coming with me as well. Okay, we've actually got a hero down here. You don't see this very often. Generally speaking, this section doesn't have heroes in it. We are taking a bit of damage, but it's not too bad. And everybody's dead. Now, I am noticing that I've got a decent amount of energy left over after that fairly decent little bit of channeling going on there. And so I'm going to bump up my damage here. Now, 1 point on here will get me more crit damage, and it'll get me 1% chance of affecting the same amount of targets. So for double the extra energy cost, I get not very much. So I'm going to leave this at 4 for the moment. And I am going to bump this up. Now, 1 point gets me, if we undo that, you can see next level it's going to be 29 instead of 25 energy. 1 point gets me that. 2 points just gets me more damage with no additional energy cost. So I'm going to put 2 in there and go up to 10. And 1 in the bar. Now, you don't have to put 1 in the bar every single time. It is, generally speaking, good practice to have this number here be smaller than the current level here. So 13, a lot of the time, is bigger than 11, so that's kind of fine. And I was going kind of 2 for 1, but I'm going to lean a little heavier into Spirit. That's a lot of extra armor, so yes, I will be taking that. And the rest of this should be fine. Next level, we will get a nice shiny new helmet. Though, to be fair, you could definitely argue for the salvaged helmet there being better. Anyhow, let's go ahead and push on. And I'm just going to walk past those. They should chase me, and if they do, I will murder them to death when they get here. It does look like they've been defeated by doors, so that's fine. We'll just leave them behind. Plenty more XP where they came from. I'm taking a decent little bit of damage from all the poison here. So definitely noticing the energy bar is a little bit low more often as well. That's fine. It does mean that I probably won't be putting any more points into Drain Essence for a little bit. Again, the energy use on this skill can be a little crazy, and it is something you're going to want to keep your eye on early. We will be maxing it out, obviously, at some point. It's just a matter of which point. Okay, I don't need to kill these guys anymore, but they are made out of XP, and I just kind of want to. Health and OA, that is actually quite good, but I do like poison resistance as well. Okay, and I'm going to kill the blue guy just because I really don't like the blue ones. Again, they give you blue balls, and that's going to kill you. Referencing the portals in Morganeth's, the Tomb of the Heretic there. Definitely don't want blue balls, pretty much from any source. Alright, let's not get hit by that little wave. And it looks like I haven't got the totem here. Now, I haven't really talked much about totems in this run just yet. I guess I can bring them up here, even though the totem is actually not here. Generally speaking, unless you have a really strong leveling skill, totems are usually fairly decent to skip early on. If you're playing hardcore, there's a good chance, especially the savage totems, I think they're called. The ones that spawn beasts anyway, there's a decent chance that they will spawn mountain men who will throw nets on you, and then you can't run away, so you have to either kill them or die. And often you will be dying, because there's going to be 2 to 6 or however many heroes. So it's fairly common. Do your yelly thing. There you go. It's fairly common. If you get netted by that, you're probably dead. Looks like I've got a hero and... I will talk about Sunder in a second. I've got a hero and Veloth here. Let's get out of the goop. Alright, so... I'm a little bit worried about that. That is what's called a Sundering attack, and this is, I believe, the first time we've encountered it in this playthrough. So basically what it does, I'm going to get hit deliberately by the next one, and just show it. So game paused here. Now I've taken a decent but not too bad amount of damage here. But it's also applied the Sundered buff. We've got all this red stuff around the edge of the screen. It makes a lot of noise. You're never going to just accidentally not notice that you're Sundered. What it does is you just take 30% more damage. So, I mean, this is really bad. This is actually quite bad. Now, the first few bosses don't really have a follow-up to this. So, like, okay, I take 30% more damage, but 30% of, like, your auto attack is actually not scary. You will, however, run into things very quickly that are quite scary. So, definitely want to get used to dodging those. Alright, so Veloth's Ring, like I mentioned, this is the second of the guaranteed rare rings. And this one comes with, okay, doesn't normally have poison. Comes with Aether Resistance. I think Purging has got that poison there. In fact, it has to be Purging. Celerity is casting speed, which is good. That 5 acid damage I can't use. The percentage doesn't do anything. But 23 offensive ability, 5% cast speed, 2 resistances. That's pretty good. Necrotic Edge we also can't use. But it's certainly better than an empty slot. And I definitely could put Corpse Dust on it. I'm going to put a Corpse Dust actually on the Primal Ring. That'll get me some Vitality resistance that I don't really need, but it does increase health regen and some extra health. And my health regeneration is abysmal, actually, at the moment. But I will be looking for medals, belts, rings, and amulets and such with regeneration on it. In fact, there's a nice belt with 17 regeneration right there. It's very common to get regeneration equipment early on. And in Act 1, it's very beneficial to have a belt, to have a medal, to have even 2 rings. Don't sell the Slith Primal Ring. You can sell Veloth, don't sell this one, you only get 1. Very common to have regeneration available on a decent number of items. You want of Renewal, you want of Mending, and various base items as well. So common to have them, keep your eye out for them, and if you can get your health regeneration up to around about 200, then you can just stand in the Act Boss's face and kill him regardless of any kind of lifesteal or anything like that. Alright, we've hit level 12, so the most important thing is a nice shiny new hat. Aether resistance up to 42%, which is quite good. That will make the Act boss a decent bit easier to kill. 3% Fizz resistance on that shield is tempting, considering I would lose, well, 10% total speed is still quite good, so I'm not going to make that trade. And the rest of this, I think, is fine to just leave for now. When you come back to town, oh, I should mention as well, that quest just gave me a level and also an extra bag, so that's pretty nice. Okay, I don't want the extra energy cost for the moment, so I'm going to leave that alone. I could take Ill Omen here. I think I'm going to leave that one for now as well. It is definitely time to max this out. So my next 3 levels are going into Spectral Wrath here. This basically, whenever anyone hits me, whether it's actually runs over and punches me, or shoots me from off the screen, this is going to attack back. It's going to do Vitality and Aether damage, and we will be scaling Aether and a little bit of Vitality, so it's going to hurt. And then it's going to reduce their attack speed and reduce all 5 of those resistance types. So, Aether resistance shredding, I don't remember that being more than the others, but apparently it is now. This got buffed in the most recent patch, so didn't used to do cold, poison. It did do physical and etc., but didn't do cold and poison. So pretty good there. You go ahead and sell these. Now I probably should be hanging on to this, but it costs about the same. It's slightly less to take it off than it is to just buy another one, so I don't really care super much. The amulets you want with of mending on it is these skull fetishes. It comes with 8 flat health regen baked into the base item, so getting another 20 odd on top of that is really good. And I don't see any, no of mending, no of renewal. I definitely want to check belts, although belt I think is the one that I have already. Yeah, I already have that, but something like this would be good. 2 resistances. At this point in the game, I'm not super mad about the fact that they're fire and lightning. Those are 2 very common damage types in Act 1, so okay, I would prefer poison and elemental, for example, but fire and lightning's fine. Impervious there is actually quite good. Impervious of renewal would be amazing, but I'm not going to get that. Gold rings are also good because they come with, I think it's 4 to 6, but apparently up to at least 6 flat regen already built in. And just the regen on its own, I'm not going to spend the bits on this just yet. I definitely do want it, but not just yet. And did I already check these guys? I think I already checked this one, didn't I? Yeah, it's looking very familiar. Okay, that's fine. We have done that. Let's go talk to Bourbon. He's going to send me, I think, to the Burrwitch village at this point. Probably don't need to actually talk to him just yet, but I'll take the XP. All my points are now spent. And yes, he has indeed sent me to Burrwitch village. Before we can get there, though, we have to go through the flooded passage. Oh, and I have a devotion point to spend. More spirit can only be a good thing. Alright, so we got some angry doggos. We'll go ahead and kill them. The mosquitoes also need to die. These things are annoying because they steal your hit points, and they also don't really care so much about vitality damage. Alright, we can, I think, I see that totem. I do. Savage totem. It's probably fine to do this totem. I know I did just talk about totems being fairly dangerous. It's on the wrong side of this rock anyway, so I'm not going to go back for it. Totems at this point in the game are going to be probably fine. Probably. It's definitely something you want to consider very much whether the risk of going back to level 1 is worth it for a little bit of XP. Granted, some loot as well. Okay, it's a lot of XP. you can get multiple levels out of a totem. But you can also get death out of a totem, so it's not always all sunshine and rainbows and lollipops. Alright, how are we doing for bits, actually? Can I turn the yellow items off yet? Let's have a look. 16,000. Might leave it for a little bit longer, but I will be turning that off very soon. That is a nice ring. Wraithbound is not the prefix I thought it was, but celerity is quite good with the attack speed, or the casting speed, sorry. And we have Igrix the Rhymeheart. That's going to be cold damage, which I don't love. Getting frozen as well is also going to stop me from channeling. But we did get him down. We got a hat, and we got shoulders. Shoulders with a lot of armor and physique and offensive ability. Yes, please. I was thinking that Wraithbound came with Aether damage, which again, I think that might be a maybe on armor, but Wraithbound is a pet thing, so celerity, yeah, 4% casting speed, probably not worth the swap there. Okay, we've got a devotion shrine here, so we'll get another point out of this, as well as some more XP. Is there anyone else going to want to come out of there? Seems like everyone was involved. Okay, so we'll turn this on. Probably don't want to be standing right next to the guys made out of exploding fire bombs. And there he goes. Okay, Dominators, that's pet stuff. Mage Storm of Ruin. Ruin is useless. We've got another pet item. I think this game just wants me to play pets. I think that's what's going on. 8% Aether damage, less than the 9% I already have. 6 offensive ability, less than the 13. No. This one is a maybe, and I've already decided against. Okay. Spend that point there. Some physique, some Aether resistance, so we're already up to 50. This little section here, we've got a boss. Now, if you didn't do Veloth yet, potentially you could do him first. He will either be the first or second time you run into Sunder. So he's going to Sunder me, and I'm just going to take it in the face. One thing it is important to do, though, is make sure you stay in melee range, or you run far enough away that you can dodge the rock that he is going to throw. If that rock hits you, there's a very good chance that you're going to be one-shot. So definitely dodge that, or just stay in melee range. Is he even going to try and sunder me before he goes down? There it is. Okay, so I'm sundered. Doggo's dead. I'm taking 30% more damage. He does one auto attack. The sunder is worn off, and he's done basically nothing. So the first couple of bosses where you encounter sunder, you don't really have to worry too much about it. That's a nice pair of gloves. I'm going to wear those. And he will drop you your second guaranteed rare amulet. So Resistant here has got Cold and Lightning there, I think. And then Soul Warding, Aether and Elemental. This is a really nice amulet. I'm not using Bone Harvest. I'm not going to use Bone Harvest. But this has 61 health, 7% increased armor. And again, this is a source of armor that is not one of my pieces of armor. So that's 7% across every piece. And then it's got 4 resistances on it. So yes, I will be putting that on. It's fairly common for this to be quite a good drop early on. So even if you find something that's rare and actually semi-decent, you will likely be replacing it with the Shambler's Heart. So don't stress too much about it. And we'll pick that up as well. Coming up on 20,000 iron bits. I'm going to turn magic items off at this point. You probably need something like 20 to 30,000 iron bits at the end of Act 1. So having 20,000 now, we're a little bit past the halfway point. I think it's going to be fine. For a change, we don't care, actually, if you side with Duncan or Angrim. So pick whichever one you prefer and side with them. We do, however, need to go and do the quest because it is worth XP. Okay, and I am a little bit worried about how many spiders are shooting poison spines at me right now. I have just used my health potion. I may even need to back off a little bit. In fact, let's go kill these spitty dudes. That is the technical term. The spitty dudes have got to go. Alright, health potions back up, and I'm going to be fine. They do web you in place, which is awesome. Right, so my first blueprint for the character is actually pretty good. The Royal Jelly Essence, 8% health and energy. Depending on how much you want to try hard, you can have one of these active all the time forever once you get to Act 2. Pretty good oil to have active. If you were going to pick one, that's just generically good all the time. It's never bad to have more health and energy, let's put it that way. It's also probably too much effort. I definitely will not be making enough of those to keep it active all the time. But you definitely could. Alright, let's kill off a few of these guys. Looking for... where's the healer? There he is. Witch Doctor. We've got a hero there as well. And there is a Witch Doctor here. So we'll just bring the hero with us. So he's got Shadow Strike by the looks of it, but that's alright. He's rapidly running out of hit points. Down he goes. Didn't really drop anything, that's fine. Durable of Annihilation. Vitality is something that I do care about. Vitality damage, because we do a decent amount of vitality decay, which we can boost, so this shield would actually be okay. The 10% physical resistance, as well as, I'm trying not to laugh here, block, is quite useful. Chaos resistance is basically worthless at this point in the game. Same with vitality. You maybe get some use out of it. The insects do some vitality damage from memory, but no, I think I'll keep the dog stick. Okay, I'm here for the hammer. Duncan needs it. I have a group. Side with Angrim. I prefer Angrim. Technically, I should have gone with Duncan, actually, because Duncan in normal actually gives you more XP than Angrim. So, I mean, technically a mistake to side with Angrim there. Doesn't really matter, though. Okay, I'm running back to the road here. We're going to head up north. Could go that way, I guess. We are looking for the cave that's about to pop up on my little mini-map. There it is. And ideally, you want to go in the back door. So it looks like I'll be able to. This little section here is frequently blocked off by flaming piles of tires or whatever it is that they stack here. In that case, you'll have to go over here and go in the front door. The great thing about going in this cave entrance is you can take a few steps down this way. You can grab the devotion shrine and you can just leave. At this point, you can walk on out of here. Or you could maybe tempt fate a little bit and go kill off all these crystals. I'm just going to leave. You absolutely can go kill them. It's not particularly dangerous. Just be aware of where you're going to be able to run away from. And, yeah, keep yourself safe that way. Alright, more physique. And what do we got here? Formidable of Protection. This is actually quite good. That's a lot of health. Defensive ability I don't care about. Energy regen is nice. The healing effect increased by 11% is pretty good as well. Lifesteal, I believe, does count as healing, so we will get 11% more attack damage converted to health from this. I believe it also works on health regeneration. Yes, it does. So more regeneration, more just healing received, basically. And I just evaded away from old mate here. These Furies will steal your health if they hit you. Okay, let's actually do a totem here. Now, I'm going to press Z or Z, and I get items hidden, get this little crossed out thing, and now I can't see items on the floor, which is what I want, because it is going to... Once we start killing things here, it's going to absolutely cover the screen in loot. Okay, I probably do want to kill the Plague Bearer dude here first, because he is summoning friends. I also probably don't want to be standing in all of the goop. Alright, down he goes. And let me show you why I hide the loot. And keep in mind, this is a low-level totem. There's not going to be any blue or purple items, but there's still going to be all of this stuff. Mage Storm of Celerity. Okay, now we are talking. We are talking about less casting speed, but we do get 9% Aether, so I'll chuck that on. Ranger's Helm is decent. Level 24 required, kind of whatever. Alright, what do we got here? We have an Elemental Seal. I'm going to put that on. Early game, I really like damage procs that trigger on attacks. This is elemental damage, which we are not scaling. However, we do have some all damage. If we go down here to magical, we've got fire damage multiplier 60, cold is about 60, lightning's a little bit less. So we're getting some okay damage out of that, and I'm okay with losing a little bit of offensive ability and some crit damage to get it. Actually gaining offensive ability. So yeah, that's pretty much an upgrade. Pants here, less armor, more health, more offensive ability, 2 resistances. Yeah, I'm going to chuck those on as well. Pick these up. I'm not using them. Demonic Boots of Blood, 55 armor. The vitality damage on those is small, but not nothing. And the offensive ability is nice. I'll take the extra armor and the offensive ability. Aggressive of Dreeg's Gaze. I do like the extra armor on this. I do like offensive ability way more than defensive ability. I think I'm going to swap that in as well. And then the hat, I'm not going to bother with. I'm pretty much not going to be looking at hats because I have the best hat in Act 1 already. So I'm happy with that one. And let's be on our way. We have to go find Steven Seagal and tell him about our camp and get him to come and join us. So there's the Elemental Seal. Triggered already. Lasts for a decent amount of time, and it applies the damage to everyone standing inside it a couple times a second. So it's definitely a good amount of damage. Alright, we got Lightning Boy here. You see all that stuff that's over there taking damage? That is from Spectral Wrath. The skill that I was saying is going to get my next 3 levels worth of skill points. Because it does a lot of damage without you really noticing it. There's the Elemental Seal underneath him. I'm going to get out of the Lightning Storm as much as I can. Another Elemental Seal. Just going to get nice and frozen. And we just beam him down, as it were. Alright, definitely want to get out of all the residual effects, though. Probably should have evaded. Eat the Blueprint. Adept's Boots are not horrible, again. I realize I'm not exactly singing their praises, but yeah. These are good. Regen, bunch of health. Yeah, I'll chuck those on. Why not? Skyfallen of Alacrity. That's also not horrible. Damn them with faint praise. I actually went the wrong way there. I should have gone up this way. Alright, here is Ulgrim. We will tell him about the prison and stuff him into a rift gate, and then when we get back to town, we'll get some XP from him. Looks like I have 2 blockages, so we'll have to go around, which is fine, because this is kind of the way I want to go anyway. Take that polished emerald, sure. Okay, so welcome to Burrwitch. The village. You were supposed to be dead. There's level 14. Chuck those straight into Spectral Wrath. And you know what? Let's just let that kill him. There we go. He hit me once and he died. That is applied as an AoE around him, by the way, so if he happened to have friends standing next to him, he hits me once, and I hit all of his friends. Spectral Wrath is definitely one of my favorite skills in the game, for sure. Okay, we have a little bit of a fight to do here. Just kill off these guys so they don't decide they want to play as well. This is something you have to watch out for too. He was just laying on the floor minding his own business, and the Elemental Seal triggered when it when I just killed the thing I was fighting at the time, so it applied on the next closest enemy. So you can aggro stuff kind of through walls by doing that. Alright, so we're going to get a couple of waves here. The last wave is going to have between 0 and 3 heroes, probably closer to 1. But technically you can get 3. I've got 1. Beautiful. I've never seen more than 1 on normal difficulty, and on veteran I generally see 1, but I have definitely seen 2 and 3 at a time. So depending on what difficulty you're playing along on, you may get more or less. I do also want to come up here and get Dureni's, the cultist orders, and we will go back to town and talk to Dureni here in a second. I do, however, want to go and kill Balros and Hagra, because I hate having that quest left over in my journal over here. So I'm going to go kill those now. And fingers crossed, yep, good. I've got the good spawn on the road here. I can just walk straight through. Kill some more little walking XPs. You can see over there the elemental seal just being applied to all this stuff that's way back there. Definitely good to have, assuming you don't aggro too much stuff and get overwhelmed. Which is a very real danger, especially with the channeling class. Alright, let's go ahead and grab Balros here. You can fight both of these at the same time, but they do stack up on damage pretty quick. Oh, looks like I'm fighting them both at the same time, whether I want to or not. Let's take out the cold guy first, if possible. If possible. I may have to run here. My health potion is on cooldown. 1. Use it. May as well use the energy potion as well. Definitely noticing the energy drain issue here. Okay, now that we've got one of them down, especially the cold one, the other guy should die fairly easily. Alright, there he goes. So we got a couple of mutant bludgeons. 26 regeneration on an amulet is very nice. Especially when it comes with Aether resistance and some spirit. I'm gonna hang on to that, and I will probably use it at some point. Those boots are immediately, well, they're pants, but they're definitely going on. Yeah, that's a decent amount of regen. So my regeneration at the moment... Oh, shout out to to 295th Street for the pointing out that energy regeneration is the line directly under where I was looking for it last episode. So thanks for that. I don't know how I didn't see that. Taking health regen up to 63. I might just use this now. I think that's fine. Getting health regen in Act 1 is definitely a good idea. Yeah, I definitely am bad at remembering to use those points. Okay, so we're done that quest. We can go back to town, and then we'll riff back to the village. Save a little bit of walking. Gruesome and bloody, just the way I like it. And you go ahead and buy all of my stuff, please, and thank you very much. And I am going to check, once again, looking for... I mean, that's just straight up better. But it is 4,000 bits, so I'm not going to buy it. Because it's 4,000 bits, we're going to leave that alone. Checking the gold rings first. No dice. Checking for any mending or renewal. There's mending, but it's on an amulet. I'm already good for amulets, thank you. So that's fine. I will check the other merchant. We've got ribbons. Okay, now we are talking. So again, I want, you know what, 9% physique and some regen. I'll take that. How much was that? 3,008. That was not cheap. Definitely worth it, but not cheap. And I'm checking for regen again. Yep, that's fine. So my health regen's up to 90 a second, so it's going to take about 30 odd seconds to regen from basically dead. Okay, so we'll talk to Olgrim. Is the cook who's actually a bit of a badass. We'll just leave him alone for now. Angrim, again, you may have gone with Duncan here. It literally doesn't matter for this character. The recipes that they each know that the other does not know, we won't be using any of them. And we're going to go and murder Durrani. Okay, so your two options here. Explain yourself will open up a side area that we don't need to go into, which is actually kind of dangerous. And your schemes are finished. We'll, well, aggro him. Let's not stand in the fire. Just stay out of the fire and run circles around him. There he goes. The reason we kill him is we can then come over to John Bourbon here and we get a Blood of Chthon. Also get some iron and some reputation, which is quite good. Okay. And we've agreed to kill the act boss, which, I mean, obviously. Actually, I will go ahead and grab this quest as well. Now, I already know where these are going to be, but can't hurt, right? I will get the fabric. And Sardina has 100 free XP for me. There we go. Alright, quest-wise, we have got the fabric, we have got the Warden, and we have Kasparov's Apprentice. All three of those are coming right up. Alright, no level up, unfortunately. Let's mosey on down the road here. There's two ways you can go here. It doesn't really matter which way you go, as long as you get through. I like going left, just because of the docks being over here, but you can go up that way and then hook back around. Doesn't really matter, like I said, as long as you get there. That being blocked is kind of annoying. We'll have to go through this building. And by through this building, I mean everybody dies. Except that guy, he can live. He's cool, he's just chilling. Very close to a level, actually, so if I can find anything at all to kill, I think I'm going to go ahead and kill it. We're also about to hit level 15, which is an important level for components. I think I will just craft all the components at the end of the act, though. Then I have only the one crafting session. Okay, 10 points in Spectral Wrath. Do I regret not having a couple of extra points here? No. I'm already at 15. I'm at 15. I'm okay with that. Getting more points in Spectral Wrath is always, always, always good. Until this number here says 20, I want more. Whether or not I'll get more, who knows? But I want more. My life is looking a little low though, so maybe the next couple levels will go into the Necromancer Bar and Spectral Binding, now that Spectral Wrath is maxed out. And just look at all these guys dying, right? You're going to see this being triggered pretty much on cooldown, because Spectral Wrath counts as an attack, and it hits multiple things at a time. You can trigger all kinds of things. So the doggy is going to show up pretty much on cooldown. The elemental seal is going to show up fairly regularly. It's just down to how many things you hit. The more targets there are, the more procs you're going to get. Okay, I do need to go ahead and grab these fabrics. The chests you're looking for are always going to be weathered chests, but that does not mean that all of the weathered chests are going to have it. It's only weathered chests in specific locations, which you will know about once you have done this a few times. And you can always just get the quest. Go and talk to the seamstress, whatever her name is. Pick up the quest, and then they'll be highlighted on your map. Okay, I'm going to do that totem. I'm going to chicken out and not do the Ancient Aether Warped in the Warden's laboratory. But we can do a Forsaken. I'm going to turn the loot off, and let's go ahead and do this. Okay, Azar the Wrathful is really not taking a whole lot of damage here. I definitely want to take out the guys that summon more guys, as it were. And then Azar can go next. I don't think he summons more guys, but he might. Okay, that was actually quite underwhelming. I'm very much whelmed. Alright, what do we got? So we've got Caustic of Ruin, that's going to be garbage. Let me just double check that. Yes, that is indeed garbage. The Mariband is great for pets. If you put this on and you get hit, it will summon another doggy, and this one will actually taunt things, so can be good. Doesn't really have a lot of health at this point, but absolutely can be good to wear this. I'm not going to. That's a shield, so no. Frostborn is a no, and that's a two-hander, so none of the loot was particularly amazing, but I did get a decent chunk of XP out of it, so I'm kind of okay with that. Go ahead and take care of this lot. And this one. Now, I am noting that the energy is not disappearing quite as fast anymore. So we could maybe look at bumping up the damage. One thing I will say here as well, this one's blocked because there's a pile of burning rubbish there, so I can't go through there. It's blocked over here as well, so I can't go around that way. We are taking the full detour, which I think I've mentioned for the last several characters and haven't actually had to do it. So we got to go down here into the caves underneath the city, or sorry, excuse me, the musty cellars underneath the town. It's not really a city, is it? A little bit small. Bloodletters, that's a helmet. We've also got I think that's a Forsaken totem from memory. It's ancient. Okay, I'm not touching that. Call me a coward in the comments. I'm not touching ancient Eighth Warp totems at this point in the game. I kind of and ah about a lot of the totems early on. Mostly that's so as I don't get comments from people saying, you said it was fine and now I'm dead and I have to start again. Ancient totems, don't touch them. There is no umming and ahhing. There is just do not touch them. They will murder you to death. I mean, unless you want to. If you're on softcore, go ahead and give them a shot. But I just don't think it's worth it on hardcore. They hurt. They summon a lot of stuff, and depending on which version you've managed to get spawned, they can be a lot more dangerous, or a lot less dangerous. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. There is loot in the walls here as well. I think it's definitely there. I'm not going back for it, but there is loot in the wall there. You bash the wall down, you go in, there's a chest and a body. That's fine. I'm just going to not... They can keep that little stash. So these little eyeballs definitely have to go. I think my lightning resist is actually kind of okay at this point. Yeah, 30% is actually not great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. Spectral Wrath absolutely doing work here. And I'm going to turn the loot off again for this Devotion Shrine. This one is usually relatively straightforward, relatively easy. Yep, there it goes. Right, what do we got? Stalwart is defensive ability, so I hate it immediately. And then Platinum Band of Butchery, no. This is a lot of extra armor. The Ring of Steel is nice. We're not at the point where damage type matters a huge amount. It definitely does matter, but it's not massive. However, that is more armor. More health. 2 decent resistances. Yeah, I'm going to wear that. I'm going to wear that for sure. And chuck another point in spirit. Now, I said that I would consider maybe some extra energy cost. I think instead I'm going to... am I just going to dump all of it into Spectral Binding? I'm kind of tossing up between whether I even want to get Decomposition. The Vitality damage, yeah, it's okay. It'll be nice early, but 29 flat Vitality really isn't that great. Reducing target's offensive ability is basically defensive ability for me. It's effectively the same, and it's going to bump up the energy cost. I think I'm just going to max this, and then maybe we'll start on Inquisitor. Definitely have to remember to get the Apprentice here too. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. Let's just let them hit me and watch the Spectral Wrath tear them to shreds. Again, easily one of the best buffs in the game. It does damage, it shreds resistance, it triggers all of the on-attack type procs that you have on your gear. It's crazy good. Alright, so we've rescued her, or rescued Dalit. We've got the fabric. We just need to go and kill the Warden, and then we're done with Act 1. Okay, decent amount of stuff following me. You can skip this. I like to clear it out just in case I get overwhelmed in the actual, in the Warden's little house here. See his name. Residences of Warden Krieg. He gets his own house, everybody else has to share. Actually, I think they get their own houses too. I just don't like Krieg. Okay, I do like the choke point here. A lot of the times I will ignore this and just go in. But a lot of the times I have a much better area of effect skill than Drain Essence. Drain Essence is okay as for clearing, but it is still mostly a single target. So having that little choke point to kind of choke them up and stop them from being able to surround me is probably a good idea. The bookcases can occasionally have lore notes in them, and lore notes are XP. Alright, go on and hit me. There you go. Now you're all dead. So that was Spectral Wrath hitting 3 targets, which is kind of how it works, which is lovely. Why do I feel like I need to go back to town? I definitely don't. Yeah, I think I'm happy. 50% Aether resistance when you're going to fight Warden Krieg is actually kind of nuts. I think anything over sort of 20 or 30% is probably fine. So I might just kind of book it through here. Because level 16 is fine to fight Krieg with. And I'll probably be sort of 17, 18 by the time I get there anyway. You can see here the Ancient Aether Warp Totem. This single entity, I say this every time I see it, this single entity has the largest number of kills of any player in the entire game. I pretty much guarantee it. This thing is incredibly dangerous. It's also early enough into the game that a lot of people are going to see it. And it is ridiculously dangerous compared to your regular, ordinary run-of-the-mill savage totem. Potentially, you can get lucky and have this spawn the easier type of Aether Totem. But you can also get very unlucky and have it spawn the one with the massive hulking tanks that do huge amounts of damage. So I'm just not going to risk it. I'm going to walk straight past it, not even consider fighting it, and I'm going to recommend you to do the same thing. You can see there, Spectral Wrath just absolutely putting in work. Go and hit me. How to play Retaliation without actually playing Retaliation. It works all the way up until it doesn't. Okay, we are into the final little stretch here. Unfortunately, the wall is blocked here for me, so I'm going to have to take a slight detour. Do I want to go north or south? I think we go south here. You can go either way from memory. I could be remembering wrong, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But, yeah, this is where we would have come through there. This door, for some reason, always a door there. There we go. Once again, I got hit and they all died. You'd think they would stop doing that, but nope. And as we go from like 100% Aether damage bonus up to 2,000 to 3,000%, the extra damage on Spectral Wrath can get a little bit nutty. He just killed himself. I think either him or someone standing near him managed to attack me. There you go, killing stuff off screen. Yeah, you can see why I love this buff. Okay, so we actually should have enough now devotion points to get the Imp's proc there. Let me just go hide in the corner so I don't immediately melt as soon as something attacks me. Now, I like to have a damage proc before I fight Krieg. I think it was 295th Street, apologies if it wasn't, who mentioned in the previous episode's comments that going for the Imp was not something he would do, and that's fine. You definitely don't have to. What he suggested is a fine alternative. I want the Imp here for the 3 green, 3 blue, and also the fact that it has Aether damage, which is going to be the damage we are doing. And Aether Fire is just a useful proc as well. So yes, there are alternatives. You can go other ways, but I'm going with the Imp first. Next up, we're going to be taking the Hawk. And that blue definitely needs to go into the Hawk. As soon as the Hawk is done, we'll be getting the Widow. Actually, did I lie? Do I need that still? Yeah, I do need that blue to stay there, actually. So we'll be getting the Widow next because this has Aether Resistance Shredding on it. And also it just does damage, which is nice. So I'm definitely going to be taking that as soon as possible. And you're going to start seeing these little green flames show up on the floor. That is the Imp's proc. So we now have the steel spinny blades thing when I get hit. We have Spectral Wrath when I get hit. We have 2 damage procs on attack now. We have the Imp's little Aether Fire on the ground. And we also have the Elemental Seal. So looking pretty good for extra, like, free, quote-unquote, damage. You know what? I'm just going to walk away from Mr. Lightning Man there while I kill some of his friends. There is a lot of stuff in here, especially if you kind of slow down. Like, I definitely should have left by now. And I probably shouldn't be worried too much about Tessalon here. Yeah. Binding is pet stuff again. I'm seeing a pattern here. Go ahead and max that out. I will most likely have to go ahead and get Decomposition and Hungering Reach and the main skill up a little bit, but I think we can maybe put some points into Inquisitor first. I'm going through here, killing off all these Aether Crystals, and a lot of the time I'll do I'll finish Act 1, and then before I go into Act 2, I'll exit the menu, come back in, and do this run again, except from the other direction, because there's a rift gate probably about to show up on the map, actually, pretty soon. So I do like to get a few extra Aether Crystals here. We will be using them for Wrathstones at level 20. We will be using them... Ooh, Despise with the Ethereals. We're using them for Aether Souls. Probably mid-20s or mid to late 20s, kind of halfway through Act 2 kind of area. Depending on how resistances go. Actually, it's probably likely to be more like level 30 to 35-ish. Again, though, it just depends on how resistances are looking. We'll be using Aether Crystals also for crafting Wardstones, so there's definitely a lot that we're going to need. I'm going to leave it for now, but you could absolutely get this waypoint, and then exit to menu, come back in, and just run backwards. So, oops, wrong button. So you run through here, you get these ones, run back up around this way, grab these. The totem was there, I've chosen to walk past it. Come back down here, more Aether Crystals, more Aether Crystals. Once you get to this one here, you're done. So you can go back to this point. Level 20 is going to be huge for damage for us. So I'm really looking forward to that. The only way it could be more massive in terms of how much damage we're going to gain from hitting level 20 is if we were doing a weapon damage type skill that also was Aether damage. It's going to be nuts. Okay, definitely want to grab these, and I'm taking an okay amount of damage here. I probably want to go and get some more regen stuff. Having said that, I do have a lot of health, So I said before that you probably want to have 100 points per level as an absolute minimum. This is the old number. It probably should be higher now, but it's kind of functional as a minimum. We're almost double that. We're not quite, obviously, but it's close. It's a lot. We'll get around. Thanks for your notes, buddy. I'm going to not stand in that fire ring, but I am going to kill this guy. Absolutely, you could just walk past him. But yeah, it's probably worth killing him. Don't stand in the goop, though. The Aether Grenades are annoying, as is all the rubbish he's going to summon. So this is Kaizog Mark II. Bigger, better, stronger. More Tex-Mex causing the Ring of Fire. And he's pretty much dead. Once he dies, all of his buddies should die as well. So as long as I'm not standing in anything, should be fine. Alright, which way are we going through here today? Not that way, and also not that way. So both of the easy ways, we'll call it, are blocked off, which is lovely. Come through this way. I may have to just bite the bullet and put some more skill points into Drain Essence as well. Damage is starting to feel a little bit low. I mean, 10 points is not horrible. Maybe I do need to get Decomposition online sooner. I might just have to. We will have some monster infrequent items for boosting the skill itself kind of halfway through Act 2, I guess. And I'll talk about that when we get there, though. Alright, if everybody could get out of the doorway, that'd be great. Okay, we are about to get buried in ethereals, which is always fun. So you'll see them come crawling out of the ground. There's also 6, I think, Aether Crystals in the next room, and they are going to be continuously spawning more of them. I think I need the damage for fighting Krieg. What I don't want to do is get into the situation where I'm completely out of energy. My energy potion is on cooldown, and I'm just standing in front of him, kind of thumb up, backside. So, with that in mind, maybe... Ooh, that's going up again. Okay, hang on. So 32 becomes 46. That's a lot. Okay, we're just going to leave that. This doesn't actually get me any more damage. So damage is kind of off the table. Alright, let's go ahead and be an Inquisitor. Be an Apostate. Okay, I'm going to go around, I'm going to clear out these crystals as fast as I can, because the crystals are summoning new friends, and I don't really want them to have new friends. Also, the crystals are made out of, well, crystal, and I need as much of that as I can get my hands on. Now we can kill off some of the swarm, and especially the guys that look like Zanbrand here, because they summon additional things. So we're going to kill him. He's standing in all kinds of Aether Fire. He's standing in the Elemental Seal. So he's taking a decent amount of damage. He's going down pretty quickly. He is going to use up about half of my energy bar, but I didn't use any energy potions yet, so it's probably fine. And I'm going to pump Spirit just a little bit more. Alright, Warden Krieg, I'm at 50%. I'm relatively confident that I can just stand in front of him and blow him up. I do, however, want to go and see about some extra regeneration items, so I am going to come back to town and just have a look. This is too expensive. Do not buy rare items. 18,000, that's more than half of my entire budget. What was that dagger? No proc, no good. Okay, I've got mending on these two. I want 2 rings. Amulet's fine. Okay, am I going to get 2 rings? Maybe not. Definitely not from him. Alright, no, I'm not. Not even 100. I'm going to end up needing to use healing potions. That's fine. I would prefer to just regenerate it so I don't have to. But we don't have regeneration from our classes yet. Do we get regen from this? No. Okay, maybe we're never getting regen from the classes. It's fine. After Act 1, I don't really care so much about regen. Okay, here's Warden Krieg. There's going to be some dudes crawling out of the ground here in a second. I'm going to kill them before I go after him. Any second now. Okay, they're a bit shy. They'll be along shortly. So, Warden Krieg can be a little bit annoying sometimes, but if you've built your character decently well, most of the time the safest place to be with him is standing right in his face, doing as much damage as fast as you can. Now, you can see my health bar. It's not really moving. I mean, it is now that I'm saying that. But he's nearly dead, and I haven't had to use a potion yet. I am going to use the energy potion now. I'm going to get out of the goop, and again, I'm going to stay in melee range, and I'm just going to see how much his Aether Stomp does. Here it comes. That's about maybe a quarter to a third of my health bar. And if I can be full health again without using a potion before he does the next one, or, yeah, that's probably fine. I've got a healing potion available. I'm just going to stay in melee range. So the reason why you want to stay in melee range, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you. So he has a crossbow attack. Those do piercing and I think bleeding damage. This he does anyway. He's going to charge you, take a swing. Now he's going to do the stomp. You can literally run circles around him. So if you find yourself in trouble, as long as you're running sideways when he does his attacks, you will never take damage. Charges, swing and a miss because I'm already gone. Stomp, I'm not in range, it doesn't hit me. The wave, I dodge it. Crossbow, dodge it all. I'm going to dodge back in after he does that one. And I'm going to stay in melee now and just kill him. But just so you can see, Warden Krieg, even on Veteran, is just not that hard. Granted, I do have a lot of Aether resistance, and I have regeneration built in, but you can do that too. Alright, and he's about to die. I'm going to use the potion. I didn't need to. He's already dead. He just doesn't know it yet. There we go. Okay, he will drop his weapon, which is an Aether weapon, so you can get some good stuff on this. I have not. 28% Aether damage on there is, I guess, okay. The attack speed is useless. The health is okay. Fizz to Aether, I don't care. I'm not actually hitting things with a physical weapon, so I get nothing from that. And all the pet bonuses also don't help me. So this is actually quite a mid to bad weapon. Having said that, I am going to sell it. His shield, however, is really, really good. 19% physical resistance. That means one of the largest sources of incoming damage in the game, I'm going to reduce by 20% before it even sees my armor. So absolutely. Durable as a prefix there is really good, but most... Actually, I think Warden's Fortress comes with a small amount of physical resistance built in. So I am absolutely going to use that. If you don't get a good one, then you can... Actually, you know what? I'll show that as well. Getting a little short on time. Don't forget to pop this chest. It has a tainted brain matter in it every single time, which is... where is it? This one. You need this to craft a relic, although in this particular case, we're probably not going to. I will tackle the crafting stuff next episode. If you don't get a good shield from him, just come back to the Whitemire. And don't stress too much about this. We will be replacing it with a much better shield after Cronley. So a little ways in the future, but don't stress too much about it. This is a really good shield, but you don't need it. See this guy here? You don't have to fight him. Just click on this body here and get yourself another Carver's Conjuring Bone. You're going to be higher level now, so you're going to get higher level affixes, which means higher level damage. Don't worry about killing this guy. I'm going to do it because he's annoying me, but you don't need to kill him. You can walk over here, grab one of these, and eventually you'll get one with Aether damage bonus on it. Or you could just not and go with whichever one you have and just keep going. All right, that is the end of Act 1. We are over an hour already, so I will tackle the crafting that we're going to do here after the or during the next episode. So I am going to call this the end of episode 2. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.